to the last two premiers who have met not nearly often enough. Round 9 last year, and before that it was back right at the start of 2017. So finally they come together and we get a measure late in the season of what I think are still the top 2 seeds. Jack Riewoldt, nice to have you here.
Hello, Jared. Hello, Rob. I feel a bit weird sitting on this side of the desk.
Yeah. So we wanted to one-up you. You're the Coleman
too close
medalist.
to Robbo for mine.
Is it? Well, I prefer Nick anyway, so it's all square, isn't it?
How do we get above the Coleman medalist? You go the Norm Smith medalist, and Luke Shuey's been good enough to join us. Luke, welcome to AFL360.
Jared, thanks for having me on, mate.
All right, let's start with the retirees. You've got to know Jared Ruffhead along the way.
Yeah, I have. It's I think that he's just one of the most widely respected people in the AFL industry, not only a fantastic player and a really successful player. And I've got to know him through Jordan a little bit and have really admired him. And I suppose as a key forward, you sort of look at the guys that you want to play like, and he's a bit of a similar build to me, and I sort of modelled my game around the way he went about it.
Which bit? I mean, what was it? His marking, his agility, below the knees. What did you look at and thought,
I think every sort of facet of his game is pretty well rounded in every area, which is something I like to think about myself in when I play footy, and being able to obviously impact offensively, defensively on the ground as a smaller player as well. So, yeah.
What did he do that you would like to have in your arsenal? And you've got things that you do. What did he have?
I would have liked to have played a bit more midfield time like him, to be honest. I could have played on Luke. Been to a few more stoppages, that would have been nice.
So, Luke, what was it like in those derbies to stand in the centre square with the imposing shadow of Aaron Sandilands there?
Yeah, it was a little bit scary. Always a tough one to scout against coming up. Obviously such a dominant ruckman for such a long time, and has played a massive role in helping a few Fremantle midfielders become the stars they have. But yeah, I think Jared and Aaron both announcing their retirements. It's always sad to see champions of the game go out, but I think it's safe to say they can both leave with their heads held pretty high.
Was there a type of ruck work, Luke, that was unique to Aaron? Forget his height, but when the ball was in the air and the hands were just about to touch, did he have something really unique?
Oh, I think he had the finesse with his hand to be able to put the ball to spots and not overly hard. You find a lot of ruckmen slap the ball down pretty hard at times, but I think he was pretty good with his hands. Obviously, the height advantage helped, but yeah, there was never too much of a game plan coming up against Aaron. It was stand on a Fremantle bloke and hope they don't get you out the front.
And at this time of year, everyone sort of casts around, so who else will join the retiring class and hopefully bow out and go round in the lap? So Brett Delidio looks like he's in a tight spot. It felt like he was going to go on. Now he's got the soft tissue injury towards the end of the season. Are you hopeful that he gets through this and sees more footy? Yeah,
I know that Lids is still really keen to play on. He's just had a horrendous run with injury, unfortunately, and again on Friday night he's hurt his calf. I have spoken to him about the fact that he's hurt his calf. I don't know the severity of it, but. Yeah, you just when you want to see your mates get a run at it, and unfortunately over the last 3 years, 4 years really, he just hasn't had a great run at it. And I mean, questions always get asked when you're at the back end of your career. You're over 30 and you're getting injured. They're always going to be asked. But he's at his peak, and I still think that he's pretty close to his peak when he's up and going. He's a pretty important player, so I don't think they'll be making too many hasty decisions on whether he can go on or whether he will go on. So
Leon put 3 to 4 weeks on it today, which puts him on the tightest of tight timelines. It probably makes it impractical, in all honesty, to get back. All right, the here and now, or more particularly what's coming on Sunday. So, Luke, you were Robbo's hero last night. We've lauded the way that you've played through the year. We think you're an all-Australian lock. Just a bit of self-assessment. How do you rate 2019 and the sort of form you're in heading to the business end?
Well, for me personally, it's been a bit better than 2018. I missed, I think, 6 or 7 games with a hamstring injury last year, which was disappointing, and struggled to find a bit of form for a while after that. So it's been nice to be on the park every week so far, touch wood. And I think we've improved as a team in a few areas, which has helped me individually, but a few of our young guys. Really pleased to see some of the guys coming along, and it's an exciting time of the year, and we have a really good test this week.
Can you remember coming back to pre-season or maybe even post-Christmas, Luke, and was there a challenge to reset and go again? And has it been something that the team and yourself has grown into as the season's gone on? Or did you come back and say, right, we're going back to back, let's hit it, flat chat? Can you tell us your sort of mindset from the start?
Yeah, it was always an interesting one for me, Rob. I always wondered what it would be like coming back after a premiership. And to be honest, I think after a couple of weeks of drinking a bit of booze and celebrating, you're straight into how do we improve, and geez, that was good. I want to do that again. So we got stuck in our training. I think all our, not that we looked too much into it, but our testing results when we came back across the board as a team were really impressive, which just showed the guys were committed over the break to do the work and come back in good condition to train. And you could see the hunger over pre-season. I'm sure Jack was the same the year before with Richmond. When you get a taste of the success that we were lucky enough to have last year, once the moment passes, you just want to get back there and do it all over again. You don't necessarily talk about back-to-back or winning another flag. You just know the work you need to do to get there. And it was really pleasing to turn up to pre-season and see the way the boys attacked it.
Time will decide whether you win the flag or not. But is it a silly question to ask you, do you think you're a better team this year than last?
It's a tough one to answer because you're comparing yourself to other teams more so than yourself a lot of the time. You look at who's around you and who you're playing, and what are the top teams on the ladder doing that we need to learn to do. So we don't talk too much about last year, to be honest. You can't get hung up on what's happened in the past. I think if we stagnated this year to where we were last year, then there'd be a lot of teams going past us. The game's continually growing and teams are continually getting better, and you got to find a way to keep trying to find a way to stay ahead of the pack. Otherwise, you get gobbled up pretty quickly. But I think we've seen some promising signs this year. We've been able to blood plenty of young guys, and they've been able to come in and play their role. And it feels like we're in a really good spot at the moment, really good space with what we're doing, but still plenty of water to go under the bridge.
Does that sound reasonably familiar?
Yeah, it is. It's Luke's speaking about the fact that you get the taste for it, and you do. It's an amazing moment when you win a premiership, and the minutes and hours that follow that are super addictive, and you become highly strung. You just really want to get back there again, but. I think there's an element of just taking your time to enjoy the journey as well. And as silly as this sounds, premierships, sometimes in weaker media, they define people, but real people know that the journey is what defines people for us. So the journey that we're on, and we went on it last year, and unfortunately, we thought we were a good chance of winning it, and we didn't get there, but the journey we've been on this year has been a really exciting one. It's been a lot different to the two previous years, and I mean the next fortnight for us is really exciting. We get to take on the champs, and they are the champs, and it's a big game for us on Sunday.
So it is crazy how little you've played. Round 9, 2018, round 3, 2017. It's not nearly good enough for the past two premiers. So what's loaded into round 22, 2019?
4 points, but it's we're at the pointy end of the season, and I mean even you look at the fixturing, you've got first, second, third, and fourth all playing each other. So I mean whoever came up with that and used the crystal ball to foresee the fact that could be happening in round 22s deserves a bonus down at AFL House. But the feeling around our group at the moment is we are really looking forward to the challenge of the next fortnight, but obviously the challenge of Sunday to come up against a side that is the best team in the competition and have been now for a good period of time. So we're looking for the challenge, looking forward to the challenge, and no doubt Luke and his boys are looking forward to coming over to Melbourne to go up against us.
If you have a win, Luke, is that really significant? And if you have a loss, is it the end of the world, or is it sort of, it's not as bad as it seems, it's not always as good as it seems?
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's I'm glad you threw out the cliche and not me, but I think for our group, to test ourselves against, Richmond at the G. I mean, I don't know if there's any bigger task in football. So to test ourselves at this time of the year will be great for us. And Geelong at Skilled, yeah, there's a few, but I mean, it's a great test for us, and a few of our young guys will get some really good experience this weekend. But it's a great time of the year to be playing footy, and we win, great, we move on, and there's a fair chance we'll see Richmond again. But if we lose again, it's not the end of the world, and probably makes the last round all the more important for us.
Give us some perspective, can you, Luke? Does it feel like a final in the preparation, or because it's only round 22 and you just happen to be playing Richmond, it's a big game, but it's not quite a final? Give us some sort of, emotional levels that you and the players will have.
Yeah, I never really think home and away games feel like a final. I tend to get to finals and just feel like they feel like big games, if you know what I mean. So this is obviously a big game, and given how tight the competition's been all year, every week's just so important to find ways to win. But, as a footy player, and we've all got that competitive edge, you love testing yourself against the best sides, and that's why this week's really exciting for us.
The scouting from training, Luke, is that Nick Naitanui was there with the main group and for the first time looked like he would actually get back. What did you see today, and is that the first sign?
Yeah, it was great to see him put the footy boots on again. I think the first time since he hurt his ankle. So really exciting for us, and obviously I think they've got him on a schedule where he'll be back hopefully for finals. So he's obviously had a tough couple of years, both on and off the field, and I think everyone just wants to see Nick be able to have a run at it and play some footy. But small steps at the moment. Obviously carrying 120 kilos around or whatever he is, it's a lot of load into those legs, so fingers crossed we can keep ticking boxes with him and get him right for September.
I don't think you've brought a rascal. Might be rascaling you. Did you? What did they say? Revenge is a dish best served cold. Did you try to square up with Liam Jones from round one on Sunday?
No, what are you talking about? That's from... Well, that was unlucky, that one.
Weird.
In reflection, I don't know why I went to the tribunal for that. Cost me an extra $500, so yeah, that was a bit of a clanger. No, I don't know whether I had to square up on the weekend. I found out he had a broken voice box after the game. I didn't cotton onto that in the game or anything like that, but this is a bizarre injury, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. There's around one when he knocked you down and everyone was just going off their heads that he should be suspended. He shouldn't have been suspended for that. Just to talk about the game on the weekend, I thought the contest between you and Liam Jones was almost the best thing in the game, except when you were picking fights with Daisy Thomas for some reason. Just a couple of old people.
I wasn't picking fights with Dale Thomas. He was picking fights with me.
You were getting angry though, weren't you?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, he was. But anyway, I'm just so in awe of Liam Jones. I really am. He's saddest story ever. His mum dies. He takes the weekend off. He comes in and Carlton Tigers. He gets you. He gave it his all, Liam Jones, and to me that was the contest within the contest.
Yeah, I actually had a chat to him about his mum before the game, because our dads played footy together. Yeah. So I had a bit of a brief chat to him and expressed my condolences, and then you go out and you get into the battle and you just do it. But yeah, he's a fantastic player, and a great story about how you don't give up on someone because they've been tried in a certain position or they've been at another club. Yeah. There's always somewhere where you can find it for someone, and he's very much like Rancy. Like, he's so athletically gifted that there was a couple of times on the weekend I was like, I am in a perfect position. I'm going to get it. And then all of a sudden there's a fingernail in there. I'm like, oh no, there goes one there. So a great challenge and one that I look forward to again, hopefully in round 1 next year.
All right, so it'll be a great challenge on Sunday. Luke, thanks for joining us. Good luck here at the G.
Thanks for having me on, boys. Good on you.
Jack will review it all.
I'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you all in
big game, Jack.
Tuesday. All right, as we go to the break, let's meet the next nominee for the Rising Star.
NAB AFL Rising Star.
It's an honour to be the NAB Rising Star nominee for round 21. Obviously, some great players have been nominated already this year and great players in the past, so it's an honour to be a part of that group. My best asset as a footballer is my versatility and ability to play not only up forward but also in down back and pitch hitting the ruck as well.
Long towards right, and Oscar Allen gets back to take a great defensive mark.
My game on Sunday against the Crows, it was good to get on the end of a couple, but most pleasingly it was a good result for us to get a big win against them. The more AFL footy I play, the more comfortable I feel at the level, and to be able to compete week in, week out is really enjoyable.
Centering ball, Allen with tremendous courage.
Yeah, to be honest, it's a great feeling being able to play for the club I grew up supporting. One of my earliest footy memories is watching them win the 2006 Grand Final, so to be a part of the club and see some of the people at the club who have done it for a long period of time, it's amazing.
NAB AFL Rising Star.